knockout matchup here, knockout round 2. We've got a really great matchup here today between No Title, which is looking like pretty much the South Korean OWC roster, and FISHE, a wonderful name there, led by the one and only Rectagon. So some absolute monsters on this stage today for you in this matchup, and I'm joined by Vordy. How you doing, man?
I am doing great, Mavs. Yeah, this is one of my most anticipated matchups of the entire tournament. Two really strong teams. Very close in terms of scores when you look at some of their qualifiers scores and some of the maps they played in the last knockout stage. You have a lot of, notably 3 maps where I think they differentiated by 10k. So there's going to be a lot of skill sets that are going to be contested on this pool. And I'm also really excited to see the outcome of this match just because it'll also paint a picture for OWC, notably, as you mentioned, No Title being pretty much the South Korean OWC roster. I think one of the favorites coming into OWC this year to be one of the best performing teams. On the other side, you have notably Rectagon, one of the USA's best player, some other players you would expect to see on the United States roster. So other than just being an excited match, I think this is also maybe a precursor for what's to come in OWC.
Yeah, and a bit funny actually, because we've got FISHE, we actually have Cookie Z, of course.
Yeah.
And he's going up against pretty much the South Korean roster, so a little bit of national blood there in the match, which is good to see. And we've got some other players on FISHE that are kind of, they haven't been around in the tournament scene for the longest time, but definitely up and coming, especially on the global leaderboards. Woodchi, of course, and Window Life, some of the players that you're not too used to seeing in these high ranked tournaments in the late stages on these big super teams, but here they are showing up, and I think doing really well for themselves. Alternatively, we've got this South Korean roster here, like you said, looking like almost favorites for this year's OWC. And just for any clarification, we've got MX10001, which I'm sure everyone knows by now as Karcher. But we've also got some more recent name changes. Well, recent to my knowledge, which is MX10002 is Zyson, and MX10003 is Parisia, I believe. Yeah. So some name changes in there. And they're going to be joined by Allegrissimo, Adapir, Worst Hard Rock Player, of course. Rectagon being joined by none other than Cookie Z, FG Sky, Boshi Man, Woodchi, and Window Life, as I mentioned before. So very hard matchup. And I mean, maybe we can have a look at some of the scores that went down in the recent knockout stage.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the scores, you have a few really close ones. You look at Hard Rock 2 in the C pool, which was a precision map with some control as well. And the difference was 17k between both teams. Nomad 3B was played, I think, twice by FISHE, and one of the scores, FISHE came out on top by 150k. The other, it was very close. And then you have DT2C, also the Nomad 3B being a speed map, by the way, not an ult map. And DT2C, also a stamina heavy map, FISHE winning out. So by a small margin, but maybe that means they want to go for the mechanics maps. And I do think FISHE into this matchup is going to want to pick some tapping, some raw mechanics. When I look at these players, Window Life, obviously very strong solo player, also a very good tournament player now, but I think their strength still lies in raw mechanics. Same thing with FG Sky. If you've been on Twitter long enough, you've seen a lot of FG Sky aim pop-off clips, so you know what he's capable of on those kinds of maps. Rectagon overall is a super consistent tournament player, but I think mechanics is his strongest suit. You also have some, Chocolate Cookiezi is going to be a really scary threat when I think the No Title, South Korean roster picks a lot of these aim control maps. You're going to be looking to Chocolate to contest those. You also have Boshi Man and Woodchi, who can both, play some of these mechanics, some of these aim control. So I think in this matchup, you're going to see No Title. They're going to look to pick a lot of these gimmickier, flow aim control alt maps. And then FISHE, I think, is going to want to play mechanics.
Yeah, and I think that's something we talked about before the match as well, was this pool specifically, there really isn't that much raw aim, when it comes to these maps. And by that, I don't mean the maps aren't mechanically really difficult. All I mean is, your standard kind of no mod 1 aim that you see in a lot of pools. You usually see it spread out over a few maps, maybe one of the free mods, a couple of the other 1 slots. But in this pool specifically, it's really only the Nomad 1 and DT1 that are kind of normal, so to speak. If you can even call Nomad 1 normal, because the BPM on it is a much higher than what I think most players would be used to on a Nomad 1. But yeah, so much completely brutal aim control in this pool. If you guys haven't seen the pool yet, obviously this is the first match of the weekend, the first time you're going to be able to see it played. Some of these maps are ridiculous. Like when I was looking through the editor and having a look at No Mod 4, No Mod 5 Hidden 1 specifically, to me looked just unbelievably hard. So yeah, a lot of very, very difficult aim control, funny patterns, accelerating streams, all out throughout this pool. Not to mention the curse of what is No Mod 5. That map just looks just ridiculous. I'd be surprised to not see a ban at some point, probably from FISHE on that map. But we'll have to see. I'm not sure, because like FISHE does have players like Boshi who can play maps like that really, really well. But do you really want to play that into this South Korean roster with players like Worst Hard Rock player? I don't know.
Yeah, it is scary, those types of maps. FISHE does have players who can play those types of maps, but they have 4 very strong players, and I don't know if they necessarily do with teams of 6. And as you mentioned, lots of control maps. There's also a lot of slots that are a lot spicier than normal, notably the No Mod 2. Very, very heavy on a lot of flow aim, but a lot of cut streams, a lot of alt-like patterns at 191 BPM. It's not just your standard stamina circle stream map. It is leaning into the tech realm, and something like DT3 as well, very speed heavy, but it has just enough spicy tech patterns, a little bit of slider aim that can throw a very comfortable speed player off. So a lot of these maps, they are predominantly in the skill set you would expect them to be, but they still have a lot of patterns that can throw a player off who is just going to be focusing on mechanics. So I think it's going to be an interesting thing to see in this matchup.
Yeah, also interestingly, which I think we're not really used to, is kind of late stage in these tournaments. You know, you're usually used to seeing three hiddens, 3 hard rocks, maybe even 4 hiddens, 4 hard rocks. Like this pool only has 2 hiddens, 2 hard rocks. So I think it's like even leads more to the reason as to why there's less kind of just really basic maps in this pool, is that hard rock 1 and that hidden 1. They're just anything but normal hard rock 1s and hidden 1s, or whatever you would consider normal, quote unquote. So yeah, they're definitely just kind of got every skill set mashed into one, and I think it definitely leads to making some very, very difficult maps in this pool where you need some very all-round high mechanics players that can go into those maps who are very comfortable on a lot of different skill sets, can play streams, can play aim, can play, you know, wiggle aim control, and put up some really, really good scores. But we are going to be getting into our bans and our protects here. I believe it should just be 1 ban either side to start things off. And it's going to be No Mod 2 coming out from No Title.
No Mod 2 ban from No Title, the heavy gimmicky flying map I mentioned. Now, are the protects before the bans, or? Oh yeah, so it's okay. One ban protects and bans. Okay.
Yes.
It's interesting. Yeah, so they get that guaranteed ban off on No Mod 2. Kind of interesting to see. I thought that was going to be a map that No Title would be a little bit more comfortable on. And as you mentioned, by the way, the 2 hiddens and 2 hard rocks, I think one of No Title's strengths coming into this matchup is their hidden. I think overall it is stronger. Okay, so it is the protects.
It is the protect, okay.
I was going to say, because No Mod 2 to me seems like a No Title map. When you look at the qualifiers, there was a similar, very gimmicky No Mod 2 in qualies, and No Title did very well getting number 1 on it. And notably, their biggest performance gap in the knockout stage was the No Mod 2B, which was a similar, a little bit more on the tech side, but a very similar skill set. So I think it's a very fair protect from No Title into FISHE protecting DT3, which I think is also pretty fair.
We're in!
We're in, okay.
Okay, it seems like we were doing bans protects there. We seemed to catch there that DT3 was protected by the FISHE.
Yeah, DT3.
So pretty expected.
Speed map. Yeah, speed map.
Yeah, pretty damn good speed team just all round. So that one makes sense. We didn't really catch the bans, but I'm sure we'll catch up after this as we are straight into Hard Rock 2, I think this is.
Yes, Hard Rock 2 Precision.
Cool. I mean, we've got some expected players out here as well. Boshi and Rectagon on the side of the FISHE, of course. 2 very, very proficient high CS players.
Yeah, and I do think this is FISHE's pick, which makes sense. Very high BPM, by the way, for a Hard Rock 2. Normally Hard Rock 2s are on the lower end of BPM. This plays like 248 BPM jumps. So that's going to test your aim, especially at this circle size. Aiming this BPM is very, very challenging. We can see right now Rectagon, the hard rock maestro on the side of LaFish, is currently holding a 500 combo, being matched by Karcher, just trailing right behind.
Yeah, and this is honestly one of the more relaxed maps in the pool in terms of how uncomfortable are you going to be on a map like this. How many patterns are there going to be that kind of surprise you? This is definitely a much more comfortable map, I'd say, for a lot of players in this match. It's kind of more closely related to your kind of standard ICS. As we can see, nothing in here that's too crazy, too jump scary, just besides the fact that the raw mechanics needed for something like this is pretty insane. As we get into some of the linears later on, starts to get brutal, but we've only got 2 huge combos remaining, and there goes Karcher actually.
Karcher's gone. And Rectagon matching right after.
Yep.
I mean, with no significant combos left, you have Boshiman and Worst Arch Player at around the same combo. Already a 250k build-up with a third of the map left. This is looking really good for LaFish, their first pick. And this is a skill set. You know, No Title did get #1 on the Hard Rock 2 in qualies, but I do think on paper this Hard Rock team on the side of LaFish is just stronger, and I think they're showing what they're capable of.
Yeah, Karcher had a chance there to try and pull things back for No Title, especially with that break from Rectagon. There was a chance for Karcher to pull in, you know, maybe an 800 something K and probably turn the tides, but finding that miss near the halfway point.
With these breaks from LaFish and Worst HR Player, and I believe that's Perezia, as well as Karcher, they're all holding secondary combos. There might be enough time. It's hard to tell at this point.
There definitely is. There's no combo for LaFish. It's just Rectagon. Allegrissimo misses. It's not the one that matters. There goes Perezia. It's still Karcher and Worst Hard Player to hold on. It's only about 60k into the ending of this map. Spinner?
Oh, Spinner.
I don't think it's enough.
I don't think it's enough.
Oh, wow. Okay. That got really close for the first pick. I think if Perezia held on, maybe. Maybe not. I think it still would have been about 20k short, but that was extremely close for a first map.
And I think Rectagon there getting 682k on this insanely difficult pool on this Hard Rock. I think you're going to see if there's any free mods that get picked. Obviously, there's only one Hard Rock left. I'm not sure if it's going to be banned, but Rectagon just an insanely consistent Hard Rock player, securing that one for his team, going into what I believe will be No Title's first pick.
Yep, so now we're getting caught up on our bans here. Okay, so it was actually a DT2 protect from LaFish. DT3 would have made sense as well.
Yeah, but, both a DT2, very, very stamina. I think the DT pool is probably the most conventional pool.
I'd agree.
And DT2 being very just a stamina map, DT3 getting banned out makes sense. No Mod 4, very tech heavy, crazy aim control map being banned out makes sense considering No Title strengths, and that's the Hard Rock 2 first pick, which they won. And now it's No Title's time to pick. And what do you think they're going to go for, Mavs?
I mean, we've got the No Mod 2, we've got the No Mod 2 protect from them, and then they've clearly wanted to ban out some speed here. It's probably gonna be some form of streams, perhaps, or they might just go straight into some sort of tech, maybe some hidden. We always know South Korea as a very, very strong hidden team, but they are gonna go for Alt, actually, which, yeah, it's kind of a very, very flowy type of map. You're kind of sharing some similar skill sets from something like a No Mod 2. Not many, but just more so in the fact that this map is quite flowy. There's a lot of patterns in here where there's some very awkwardly angled overlapping kind of streams, I would even call them, with how you have to aim these. So the No Mod 3, I think, is a good pick for them. I think, you know, this No Title team being primarily the South Korean roster, very, very strong on No Mod 3s usually. So pretty expected to see this one coming up. And we're going to have Karcher, Flying Tuna, Worst Hard Rock Player, and Allegrissimo. Flying Tuna making his debut for this match, going up against Boshi, Rectagon, FG Sky, and Cookie Z, who's also going to be making their debut.
Yeah, and I do think this map does show a lot of similarities to the No Mod 2 just because of the very high BPM. It's 155 BPM alt, or 310. So bordering on the low end of stream BPM, but obviously very spaced with lots of cuts. This plays relatively comfortable for a No Mod 3, but it is so mechanically challenging. So many extremely spaced patterns at this BPM. We can see right now No title, still holding 3 FCs. Meanwhile, on the other side, FISHE has dropped all of their combos.
Yeah, 3 huge combos still for no title, and something we didn't mention in this map as well is I believe what they are 300 BPM bursts. Is that 300 BPM or am I misjudging? These bursts are very high BPM.
It might be like in the, like a 1.6 and a 1.8.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're 1/8 or 1/6.
Like 240 something.
Okay, they definitely look so fast to me. I don't know, it's definitely a spectator thing, but there goes another big combo down for no title. Gonna be Karcher dropping it, but it's still Flying Tuna and worst hard rock player to carry the torch for no title here. No big combos to speak of for the FISHE. Boshi starting to make a recovery. Chocomin and Rectagon pushing upwards of that 300 combo mark, but it's not going to do much against Flying Tuna's full combo right now. Worst hard rock player did find a miss, but Flying Tuna holding things down for no title.
Tuna is going off right now. This map is deceptively hard because there is not a single free pattern. Like, look at that. Everything is missable in this map. But Boshi Man, Rectagon, and Chocoman are all trailing behind, and there's no secondary combos left on no title. So it's up to Flying Tuna right now, hitting the wiggle. Up to Flying Tuna to carry this for his team, but he does find a miss. And now with Rectagon and Corsace holding, I wonder if there's enough time. There's a 300k score gap and around 1/8 of the map left. It's going to be a similar situation to Hard Rock 2, where it's just going to come down to the wire, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there is such a huge combo lead for FISHE, but it's a whole 230k to make up. I don't think there's enough note density in the map to bring this amount of score back, especially with that miss from Rectagon. Yeah, I think that's going to seal things out. Cookie Z putting up a valiant effort into the ending of that map, though, comboing the entire ending, and they fall short by just about 180k on that one. Kind of doing what no title did to them on their first pick, almost bringing it back at the last second, but just not quite enough.
I mean, yeah, it did look very close. I think for a map that on paper should be pretty no title favored, ended up being very close. I think, considering it's 1-1 right now and 2 picks that seemingly could have gone the other way, especially if KZ had missed a little bit earlier and then held that combo through, could have been a completely different outcome. But it is now FISHE's second pick. I wouldn't be surprised if they just stay in that mechanics lane. Now, with the protects of Nomad 2 and DT2, you have to pick those maps before the next phase of bans to make sure you actually get to play them. At some point, I think we'll expect to see those maps being picked.
That was a ridiculous team score from no title, by the way. They had 3 players that were 500k or over, or pretty much. One of them was like 495k. It's kind of like ridiculous on that map. I don't know that.
Yeah, that
like
that
really
map
just like any
insane.
map in this pool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think especially kind of a Nomad 3 with that sort of style, it's very, very hard to hold any sort of combo through the key eyes. But yeah, definitely a very impressive scores there from no title. And yeah, it's going to be FISHE wondering if they're going to go. I wouldn't expect them to pick their protect straight away, because I think, you know, kind of the common strategy in a format like this, where you've got a second round of bans coming out after the first 4 maps are played in the match, is there's not much point picking your protect now, because you would rather pick something that the other team might ban in the second ban phase. So I would expect to see something other than the DT2 here. Perhaps a Hard Rock 1 might be an option. It's going to be the DT1, so they're going to be sticking to as close to raw mechanics as possible, going for that Hard Rock 2, going for that DT1, and I'd have to expect maybe a Nomad 1 later in this match, but it's going to be the DT1 for now.
And I do wonder the level of 10.3 comfort, especially at this difficulty, 274.5 BPM DT1, and the high end of DT1 BPMs. And you do have 10.3, which I'm not sure if no title is as comfortable at that approach rating as FISHE probably would be. And as you said, this is one of the purest mechanics aim maps in the pool, probably other than Nomad 1 and Hard Rock 2. So a very fair pick considering the mechanics skill cap of the roster. Expect to see Window Life, Rectagon, would she FG Sky probably on a map like this for FISHE?
I think that's a pretty solid shout, actually. But yeah, I mean, DT1 just sticking to those raw mechanics like you said, and after this they've still got Nomad 1, they've still got their protect, so definitely options, but you are going to be getting right into it. And yeah, it's going to be Rectagon, Woodchi, FG Sky, and Window Life, like you said, up against Karcher, Parisia, worst hard rock player, and Ali Grisimo coming in for this one, getting into this DT1.
Now, the South Korean roster no title, like, I think they're just such a scary team on aim. I think if they're feeling this BPM and this approach rate, it is going to be a tough point to win for LaFish. They'll have to do very well out of the gate. 3 combos, 2 early breaks. And I think this map is fairly short, so early breaks do matter as we're already a quarter of the way in.
And it's really cool to see, you know, when you have maps like this at a really, really high-ranked tournament in the final stage of the tournament, you actually start to see some of these players' skill caps getting pushed on something like this even. So we will have to see. It's definitely just going to be kind of a skill cap consistency check as we get some breaks here into this first Ki. It's going to be Parisia dropping alongside Wodchi. FG Sky found a break there as well. Allegrisimo soon to follow. Karcher with another miss. It's just worst hard rock player for no title going up against Rectagon and Window Life with that supporting combo.
Rectagon is also holding, I believe, the second highest accuracy in the lobby, right behind Parisia, but he is on that big combo. You can see the score lead has pretty much frozen as it's just a matter of waiting for the next player to miss.
Yeah, and we're about halfway through the map now. Some very high accuracies across the board here on a few players. Some 99 pluses is very impressive, but Rectagon finds a big miss for LaFish, and now that's going to be all the favor to no title. Worst hard rock player trucking forward with that combo alongside 3 fantastic supporting combos. No one on LaFish even has a combo higher than the rest of the no title players, but now they do with those misses from Karcher and Allegrisimo.
And worst HR player, I don't think is a player you would normally anticipate to be the biggest score on a DT1, especially in a lobby as stacked as this.
Yeah.
But right now, he's still holding that FC. I think maybe getting a little bit of shakes, but holding through regardless. I think this pick is pretty much already won as the score lead crosses over 400k, especially with that secondary combo from Parisia. But worst HR player is getting it done. Can he get the FC?
You can tell that he's not comfortable, like not very comfortable on this either. It's just a classic from worst hard rock player. You put him on a DT map he's not super comfortable on, and he just FCs it with 96% apparently, in an 8-star plus pool. So he just brings it home for no title. What an FC.
Wow.
That's ridiculous from worst hard rock player. Not the player you would expect to FC the DT1, but just does it with almost the worst accuracy in the lobby, which is just so classic from him.
Yep, it is a combo game after all, and a decisive breakpoint for no title, not just based off of worst HR players FC. You also have Parisia with a really big almost 680k, and just solid scores across the board. I mean, yeah, that went way further to no title's favor than I anticipated when LaFish picked this map.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just boils down to that worst hard rock player FC there. Even if he weren't to FC, still pull home maybe a 700k, they still would have won the point. There were some very solid scores for LaFish, however, across the board. It's just no title all round, kind of bumping up their average score. Just that bit more, each player getting a little bit more score. So, yeah.
Normally I would chalk down missing on DT1 to maybe consistency issues for some players, but this is a DT1 that's right under 8 stars. It doesn't have the most comfortable aim patterns. It is just strictly very, very difficult. So getting an FC like that is kind of miraculous, when especially that's not necessarily the skill set where the HR player is known for. That's going to put no title at a 2-1 lead going into their second pick, now feeling very, very confident.
And the first break point of the match as well, and now with a chance to consolidate, would have to expect maybe one of their stronger picks to come out here. This is kind of the point in the match where you want to kind of build that 2-point lead. So we'll have to see what they go for. I'm kind of expecting maybe something very gimmicky. We will have to see. It is going to be free mod 4.
I was going to say a lot of these free mods look very, very solid for a gimmickier team. This free mod 4 is, I believe, AR9 222 BPM, so very dense. Lots of very brutal, linear, and awkward anti-aim. I think this is going to be extremely challenging on both like low AR, the low AR, no mod, and hidden players, and also the hard rock player, because the mechanics when you add hard rock on this map just get absolutely out of control. But I do think this is going to be a situation where No Title might just have a better free mod roster than LaFish potentially. And depending on how this goes, you have some other free mod options that might favor No Title.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of a case where, like you said, the Hard Rock is just going to make this map so ridiculously hard that I'm not sure anyone's going to get an insane score with Hard Rock. So if you've got a player in your team that can play AR9 hidden like it's absolutely nothing, you know, someone who is just super comfortable on AR9 hidden, it just feels like they're playing the game. Normally, it's not even any sort of discomfort for them. That's definitely going to be a boon going into a map like this on AR9, especially with how difficult some of these linear patterns do get. So that, yeah, we will have to see. And I know for sure that both of these players definitely have some very versed older players that might be more used to an AR9 with hidden, and it's going to be Cookie Z, which is what I expected.
I think notably for LaFish, I'm looking at Cookie Z on the hidden, Rectagon on the Hard Rock. You also have Window Life taking the preference Hard Rock, and FG Sky on the No Mod. Meanwhile, No Title is just doing the minimum modding with Kartra on Hard Rock, Worst HR player on hidden, Flying Tuna and Algorithm on the No Mods. So I think this might just come down to a few really big combos because of how consistently difficult this map is, but we'll see.
Yeah, the one player, I think, the one and only player you would have expected to see on the AR9 awkward hidden is going to be Cookie Z for LaFish, which is pretty exciting to see, but going to be matched here by Worst Hard Rock player. We'll have to see how they go on those hiddens. And yeah, the double Hard Rock for LaFish is surprising to see. I guess just not comfortable on the AR9 really in general. It is only a 6-player team tournament. There's not 8 players, so you don't have as much versatility in these rosters, but getting things kicked off, Flying Tuna finds the first miss. Window Life matches it, so it's 3 FCs to 3. As we get into this intro, already see some of these really brutal linear jumps coming in.
I mean, this map is... I'm already surprised there's 6 combos, now 5, as Rectagon breaks Algorithm matching. So FT Sky and Cookie Z up against Kartra and Worst HR player.
Yeah, this is... I'm very surprised to even see 4 combos through that first section. Some of those cross-screen linear patterns are so difficult to snap on AR9. It's just crazy to see, especially these hidden players still holding on to combos. I mean, they're just so proficient in these skill sets. Cookie Z grew up on stuff like this, you know, like, this is the kind of stuff he's really comfortable aiming. FG Sky, as we know, is just such a proficient aim player in general, and of course, Kartra, the Worst Hard Rock player, just kind of the rocks for South Korea at this day and age, but still holding on to these 4 combos in this slower section of the map.
And this Hard Rock FC that Kartra is pulling off right now through the halfway point is insane. I mean, normally on maps like this, I actually favor Hard Rock comfort players, but in this case, it's just so unbelievably mechanically demanding when you add Hard Rock that I do think it is those hidden low AR comfort players who just read AR9 like it's a very comfortable approach rating who are comfortable, and you can see Worst HR player and Cookie still holding, but it's this Hard Rock FC from Kartra that is staving off FG Sky.
Yeah, things are getting tense. Why is the song so tense as we build up to this next difficult section? Still 4 combos. Everyone's holding onto a recovery except for Rectagon. Rectagon was the only one to miss in that reprieve that we had, so that is going to slightly favor No Title. As you can see, the score lead is going over to them very slightly just because of that miss from Rectagon. But that may change very soon. Cookie Z! Oh my god, he misses before the really difficult section. Window Life finds a miss as well. Rectagon, it's just FG Sky, just like that. It's just fallen apart.
And now look at the combos on the side of No Title. Kartra and Worst HR players still have Sing, but Algorithm and Tuna have recovered so well. This score lead is going to start skyrocketing to No Title, and in a moment, I don't think there will be that opportunity.
Oh,
Kartra does break, but Worst HR player is still holding that hidden FC. FG Sky matching on the No Mod, but breaking, it's now just Worst HR player as the last remaining FC and Tuna on the recovery.
Why is Tuna and Worst Hard Rock player going crazy right now? Some of these ending jumps look just so illegal to play, and they FC through all of it. Worst Hard Rock player with the FC, Flying Tuna with the reverse choke.
Did he just back-to-back FC DT1 270 BPM 10.3 into an AR9 linear weird A map? 2 FCs in a row on such opposing skill sets.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. And with accuracy not worth scoffing at either. Everyone doing pretty well on the act there. No one really having too tough of a time on the map in general, just really unable to hold big combos, and that was the main difference.
I mean,
worst other player was the main difference. Just again,
once again,
what the hell?
An absolutely monumental scoreline for no title. And LaFish playing it very well, especially towards the middle, but just falling off towards the end, which is fair just considering how difficult it was. But yeah, that is now going to put no title up 3-1 going into LaFish's third pick. And I think the pressure now is really on them to win a pick. You do not want to be down 4-1 going into your opponent's pick.
Yeah, shout out to Karcher there as well. Almost pulling in the FC as well for his team. It's just the one miss there.
Especially on the Hard Rock. Especially on Hard Rock, which I do think might be potentially even harder than the Hidden.
For sure, I think so. Just because of how difficult the mechanics get on that map. If you are comfortable in AR9, the Hidden on top isn't that much more demanding than just the Nomad if you are comfortable, just a comfortable AR9 Hidden player in general. But yeah. So now we're going to be getting into our second ban phase, of course. So both teams here are going to take one more ban. And it is going to be LaFish to kick things off. And I would have to expect one of the more awkward, gimmicky picks to go out here.
I'm still surprised Hidden... Yeah, the Nomad 5 that is the definition of awkward. That map is ridiculous with perfect stacks and just insanely dense alt aim. I'm surprised Hidden hasn't been banned, protected, or picked yet. I do think the Hidden is no title favored by a small margin, but yeah, still surprised it hasn't been looked at. It is no title to ban, and so far LaFish has picked into those mechanics-heavy maps, which there aren't a lot left. You have DT4, which is an extremely high BPM aim map. Maybe that could be a ban, but it's a pretty weird skill set. I'm not sure if either of these teams really want to pick it. You have Nomad 1 that is in that mechanics lane, but I do think it's something no title will be pretty comfortable on. So I'm not really sure what they go for here.
Yeah, and I have to think that no title probably wasn't planning on picking no mod 5 just because of the fact that they went for a free mod 4 pick instead of no mod 5. And I mean, like, in what world do you kind of ever really expect your opponent to ban free mod 4 unless it's something that's a really specific, like a really specific weird skill set? But in this case, it was kind of just linear aim. So, like, the fact that they picked that instead of going for a no mod 5 early before it was at risk of being banned kind of leads me to believe they weren't really planning on picking it. So maybe just the kind of strat of leaving it up and then thinking, you know, they aren't going to pick it, we'll just leave it up and it's whatever. But it is going to be the no mod 1 ban, actually, like we were just talking about.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
mechanic's gone.
I think it is a map that no title probably isn't feeling too bad on, but just respecting LaFish's mechanical prowess. You also have some pretty insane aim players. And now, after the second round of bans, LaFish goes into the protected map, the DT2, the 240 BPM stamina nightmare of a map. Just so mechanically challenging on tapping. And I do think this is a map that LaFish is probably stronger on.
Yeah, I think one of the few maps remaining in the pool where they're going to have an edge. Maybe DT4 is something they can look at like afterwards, but you know, no title, I think it'll be pretty proficient on something like that as well, but we will have to see. This DT2 makes sense. It makes sense to get their protect out now. They are down 3-1. They need to get a point on the board or they're going to be under a lot of pressure. So we'll have to hope for LaFish, if you're hoping for a close matchup here, that they can convert this protect.
And I do expect to see Window Life, Woodchi, Rectagon, Chocomint most likely on this map. I don't think FG Sky or Boshi probably played this type of BPM generally. Now, the speed roster on the side of no title is pretty solid, but I actually don't know if they skill cap to this star rating. This is beyond 8 stars, right under 8.3 stars. Absolutely, yeah, this is probably one of the most mechanically challenging maps in the pool. So I guess this is where we see the skill cap of some of the players on the no title roster. As well as LaFish's. Like, this is a situation where it might only be 2 or 3 players who are really comfortable on this BPM at this density.
Yeah, for sure. Like, when I was looking through the editor, it didn't look, you know, I was looking through it and I was like, oh, you know, it's stamina intensive for sure, but there's nothing that looks that's going to really kill the fingers too much. And then I got to the first, like, chorus section, I guess you'd call it. and saw how long the streams got, and I'm like, oh my god, man, you need to be able to tap 240 Infinite to be able to play this. But we are going to be getting into it, so I'm excited to see whose fingers are going to die out first. This map is just unrelenting in its streams, and early on we've had a couple breaks. We've just got MX 10002. Oh my god, Zyson, that's right. I hate this guy.
Yeah, it's
we got 3 MXs. We got the triple MX for no title. Karcher, Zyson, and Barizia alongside Flying Tuna up against Rectagon, Window Life, Woodchi, and Chocomit, who are holding on to the 4-way FC right now. 3 breaks now already.
And notably, I don't want to curse this player, but Kagizi holding a 99.87, a little bit bonkers on the accuracy. Yeah, with this 4-way still holding, it's only Karcher that is putting some resistance almost halfway through the map now. This is oh my god, these patterns. Rectagon, Window Life break, but it's still Woodchi and Kakizi holding. Karcher has broken, so it's only FISHE with any big combos.
Yeah, and I wonder if, like, you know, that was a matter of kind of stamina for some of the players dropping off there, or if it was the aim. As we see Rectagon drop down to 94%. Didn't really catch if it was a chain miss or maybe a stamina issue, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either way. But these combos from Woodchi and Chocomint, Cookie Z also known as, of course, we are already 3/4 through the map. The map is already more than over.
It's done. But it's just to see if
this is just insane from both these players. This is kind of ridiculous from Cookie Z, and really good to see Woodchi coming in for the team. Doesn't get in on many maps, comes in and is putting up this incredible FC for them right now. What is this accuracy from Cookie Z?
Finds
a miss. It's just Woodchi now to close it out.
And you can just see No Title, I think, is struggling at this ending. Their fingers have petered out. Woodchi about to close out the FC, hopefully. And Kakizi, I mean, he's 240 BPM. Chocomint obviously choked Time Freeze Hard Rock in the prehistoric era. This is a BPM range he's familiar with. And Woodchi going to find the FC. Just really insane scores from FISHE overall. I think that is definitely... I knew I think they were going to be stronger on this map, but not by that margin.
And why is Cookie Z still just acting it that well? Like, compared to this whole lobby, you've got all these up-and-coming superstars in these rosters. You know, you expect these, you know, maybe to, at some point, are these players going to outscale Cookie Z on stuff like this? No, he still just gets the best act in the lobby by a margin.
A lot.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous how well he's held up over the years. Really good to see.
That's what, like, more than 10 years of tapping does to a man.
Yeah, literally. But that is going to be a very much needed point there for FISHE. Glad to see them get that one on the board and bring back a little bit of this score deficit. 3-2 now, and a chance for No Title to consolidate the lead here and push things up to 4-2. But we'll have to see what they're going to go for. I mean, like we said, I think we're expecting probably something awkward, something gimmicky, kind of what they've already picked into. They've picked into kind of weird linear and flow aim so far, so I'm wondering, maybe are we going to see the hidden 1 come out? Maybe are we going to see some low approach rate? Maybe a hidden 2, maybe a free mod 2?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, hidden will have to be delved into very soon, and because none of the hidden maps are banned, depending on the outcome of the hidden. And free mod 3... So free mod 3, I think this is like a flow aim control map.
It's a kind of tech. I think it was kind of tech flow aim control. Yeah, pretty sure.
I think this did look pretty similar to what a no mod 4 would be, but obviously in the free mod pool, Hard Rock and hidden, especially the Hard Rock. I don't know how Hard Rock players are going to live on a map like this. Hidden is also going to be very challenging. This might be a situation where you might just put your best players on no mod, potentially. I think this will be pretty insane modded.
Yeah, and this one's actually going to be a collab between Raijodo, Misha Numbers, and Kalibe on this free mod 3. Thank you for them for this awesome map, but... Yeah,
also, I think we did forget to mention No Mod 3 that we saw, No Title 1, was a custom song. So, very cool.
Yes, of course. Definitely did forget to mention that one, yeah. Be a bit, you know, sometimes a lot going on in these pools. Forget to check the map notes. But yeah, No Mod 3 was a custom song, of course. But yeah, this free mod 3, yeah, I think the tech makes sense. The no mod 4 ban as well from FISHE. You know, it makes sense to bring out this free mod 3. I was definitely expecting maybe something a little more awkward though, but I think I stick with the free mod 3. It's definitely a chance for FISHE to do well on something like this. It's nothing that's going to be out of the realm of comfort for really any other players on the FISHE. It's not something that's, you know, oh, there's patterns in here that they're going to be super uncomfortable playing. They're not going to be able to play through. They definitely will be able to. It's just going to be that consistency factor. And I kind of think no title, of course. South Korea is so good at tech for some reason. They just always are. So definitely makes sense to pick into this. Interested to see the mods. It's going to be Karcher on Hard Rock, Worst Hard Rock player on Hidden, of course. Cookie Z on the Hidden and Rectagon on the Hard Rock. So actually a complete mirror to what we saw in the last free mod.
Definitely putting, Rectagon, and he's the best Hard Rock and the best Hidden player, makes sense. Putting your strongest players, looking for a very solid team score overall. And all of these players are so solid that sometimes teams, and notably OWC, you put your strongest player on no mod, but all 8 of these players are insanely skilled. So you can trust pretty much anybody to get a big no mod score. Right now, pretty relaxed in the intro of this map, but it's going to start picking up pretty soon.
Yeah, no early breaks, which is good to see. You don't want to be breaking on this very, very calm intro as far as things go. Not really much to miss on yet. So players holding on. And things are going to pick up very, very soon here.
Yep.
One
right
final
now,
little reprieve.
Just no title with a very slight AC advantage, but we're going to see who drops first.
Anyone missing on those weird double sliders? No, everyone hitting those weird kick sliders. Mind you, a few players dropping a lot of accuracy, but all getting through it. Everyone holding on to the FC into the first Ki, and we are definitely going to be seeing a miss here very shortly. There it is, the big accelerating stream coming in. It's going to be catching Cookie Z, Window Life, and Worst Luck player off guard, as well as Allegrisimo. Karcher finds a miss now as well. These streams, man.
These patterns
you can see.
Actually insane. Everybody has dropped that FC. As some of these streams, like, I just don't know how you're supposed to hit them consistently. And right now, I think it's just maybe the AC advantage favoring no title right now, especially with Window Life on 94%.
Yeah, some of those accelerating streams are just ridiculous. The spacing on those notes is like multiple notes in between.
Yeah.
It's just so unreal, like just so unreal difficult. But getting into kind of the next section here, a few more of these accelerating streams coming out. Mind you, not as difficult as the previous section yet. Ooh. There's one of the difficult ones coming out. Window Life finds a miss. Everyone else holding on.
And actually, these combos from no title are kind of mental. Flying Tuna will break, but it's still Karcher, HR player, and Allegrisimo still holding only Chocoman on the other side.
Oh, but there goes Allegrisimo. And everyone is missing. I'm just seeing red flashing before my eyes right now in this lobby. No one can hold anything besides Karcher and Cookie Z, and Karcher misses. And now Cookie Z hits that. He hit that. How did he hit that? What the hell was that pattern? That just looked ridiculous. I think it was 1/3.
I think it might have been, and now Cookie Z, the only big combo on the board with a quarter of the map left. I think potentially if he sees some supporting combo from his team and no title finds some struggles, this is potentially a break point, but it's going to be very tough with this 200k score lead to no title.
It's all eyes on Cookie Z, because if they want any chance, he has to be the one to hold. So can he get through? No, he can't. The shakes. Maybe getting a little bit nervous, actually. The veteran himself, seeing that break there, seeing he was only on the combo. But still, I mean, you can't really expect, nerves or not, to get through any portion of this map consistently. So a fair miss, and at the end of the day, don't think it would have mattered. So there is at least that silver lining for the FISHE.
And I mean, Karcher as well, getting I believe the highest score in the lobby with Hard Rock, just doing this on the free mod 3 and the free mod 4. A ridiculous Hard Rock player. And Cookie Z with the second highest score on the Hidden. But it's just the consistency from the team of no title on the rest of the mods that made the difference. And now they're up 4-2.
Yeah, top scoring that on Hard Rock is just insane from Karcher.
It
Like,
is. Oh, don't look
oh
at
no,
don't look
man.
at Karcher's acting. Don't look at Karcher's acting.
Dude. Karcher, why, dude? Yeah, I mean, like, that's just ridiculous. To actually outscore some of the no mod players on that, that's definitely not one of the free mods where it's like, oh, this is uncomfortable on no mod, and with Hard Rock, you get some, you get some more positives with it. It's maybe a bit more comfortable in some regard. No, that's definitely easier with no mod in every way, in every
I
stretch of the
completely
imagination.
agree.
So
Getting
Karcher,
the getting the highest score with Hard Rock is just a pure show of skill and consistency in tourney play. There is in no world where anybody really finds that easier with Hard Rock than no mod in almost every case.
Yeah, pretty much. So ridiculous consolidation there from no title, and they're going to be converting the next pick, putting things up to 4-2. Now with a chance, the FISHE to bring things 4-3. And what do they have? It's gonna be the Hard Rock one, probably the next kind of mechanics-based map to go for. However, this one is going to be a lot more on kind of the light tech side. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's fully a tech map, which kind of makes sense as to why LaFish are picking it. It's a bit of light tech with some kind of consistency in the aim department and also a few streams here and there.
Yeah, it's one of those slider aim heavy Hard Rock maps where it's still aim, but because a lot of the jumps are slider based, it's gonna trip your reading up a little bit, and you also have a lot of flow aim to throw you off. I think this is definitely could be slotted into the mech tech category, which I think Miles coined. And a lot of these types of light tech Hard Rock ones we've been seeing in tourney play, not just your average consistency, comfy jump in stream map. And I do think that this will be maybe a bit more contested than Hard Rock 2, even though Hard Rock 2 is still extremely, extremely close. This might favor no title a little bit more than Hard Rock 2 did, but I still think LaFish, probably with Rectagon notably, I think it's going to be up to Rectagon to get a massive combo in this map for his team.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, yeah, like you said, Rectagon on a map like this where, you're still delving a lot into just kind of Hard Rock consistency, and I think that's still kind of the primary skill set on this slot, even on this map specifically. So definitely, I kind of give favor to no title in the fact that there is some tech patterns in this map, and they're going to be comfortable on that, but then you also have the factor of it's Hard Rock, so LaFish are definitely going to be probably more comfortable overall, I would say, just because of the fact that it's Hard Rock. But we'll have to see as we get into things.
Apparently this is a custom song made by the mapper, which kind of goes hard.
Oh,
Making
wow.
a song and then mapping it, that's kind of sick.
Yeah.
Let's go. And mapped by Otosaka Yu. Sick, but right now, in the early stages, we see Rectagon and Worst HR Player as the only two remaining combos. And despite the name Worst HR Player is probably going to be one of the best players in the map, as he's the only remaining FC with Rectagon dropping. In a scary situation considering it's LaFish's pick. Everyone
finding misses in that early intro of the map there. Worst Hard Rock Player, the only one to hold the combo, is, of course, just the GOAT, apparently. Gonna have a favor. They're gonna have a lead of about 10k. It's not gonna be much to speak of, but the map will start to build up again as we approach the next stiff spike. Hopefully everyone can hold on to combos through this little reprieve.
Yeah, I think if Worst HR Player finds a break at some point, it might start swinging the other way, but with that break from Window Life, it's not going to be that easy, especially with FD Sky dropping as well. Those supporting combos need to hold on the side of LaFish, especially since no title had no breaks in that section. And Worst HR Player is still holding fast through the halfway point. It's going to be looking pretty scary for LaFish.
Here we go. These kick slider jumps. Definitely just throwing off. Yeah, Woodchi finds a miss. So did Window Life. Yeah, these kick slider jumps definitely just kind of throwing off that traditional Hard Rock comfort. And now we get into some buzz sliders as well, which are definitely easy to find some slider breaks on. Some of these streams coming in as well. And Worst Hard Rock Player actually found a miss as well. I don't know if that was his big combo that just broke there or not.
Yeah, it was a bit earlier, but
yeah. Okay, yeah.
And now the entirety of LaFish is reset, but Karcher still holding through this bonkers difficult section of the map. I mean, with this Karcher combo and the score lead being 250k, I think this is pretty much already done. I don't know if there's enough density, considering LaFish doesn't have any big combos. This might just be the second breakpoint for no title.
Karcher, of course. Who else would you expect to get a huge combo on the Hard Rock? Is, of course, just going to be Karcher. And their lead is already just too far gone at this point, I think, for LaFish to do anything about it. Getting into this ending here. One of the more difficult kind of streamier sections of the map.
How is Karcher holding?
And he's just comboing through all of it, hitting all of these 6-note streams. Finally finds a miss.
FG Sky actually also hitting pretty much that entire ending. But unfortunately, it's just not backed up by a larger combo. And No Title will be taking that second breakpoint by a convincing 400k. 5-2 going into their next pick. And this is looking very, very bleak if you're LaFish. There's a lot of breakpoints you have to consolidate with not that much time left.
Yeah, and it looks like No Title coming out on top in sort of the tech aspect of the map, whereas, you know, it was too much for LaFish to kind of bring things over the line, even with maybe the additional Hard Rock comfort they have as a team in general. Just, yeah, No Title, just too comfortable on something like that. Even though it's Hard Rock, which, you know, isn't something we're probably going to see No Title ever pick in this matchup. Still just going to be too good.
It is scary because I don't think they'll ever pick Hard Rock in this matchup because of the other team. But it's just a situation where No Title is still insane at Hard Rock. I mean, they got the best Hard Rock 2 score in qualies for a reason, up against every other team in qualies. And yeah, when you're dealing with teams of this caliber, nobody is really weak at anything. And No Title really showing how well-rounded their skill set is. And Hidden has yet to be picked. I don't know if there's been a handshake to just not pick Hidden. I'm shocked to see it go this deep into the pool with nothing being touched in the Hidden category.
It has to be the Hidden one here. I need to see the Hidden one, and I'm very much expecting it. It's got to be the Hidden one. That map is just so hard. It's a ridiculous map to play, and I think No Title are probably pretty heavily favored on it. Just because of the fact that I don't think LaFish is going to be really that comfortable on that map. I don't think they have many players that are going to be able to really handle it, and I think No Title has some players that will. But, you know, there's possibility they go for some low AR. It's just going to be free mod again. They are going to go for low AR. It's going to be the CS5 free mod too.
And I do think part of what makes No Title so just fierce on free mod is they have Karcher as the Hard Rock, worst HR player as the Hidden. Like, I don't know what you really do against that. That is such a terrifying free mod duo. And then you just have so many players who can get really solid no mod scores. Generally speaking, when you're talking about map pools at this difficulty, you have a Hard Rock player who just can't really play that level of Hard Rock, or the same can be said for the Hidden player. It's not often you see two players who are so good at those mods that they can just pump out insane scores at this star rating, but No Title can do it.
Yeah, and this is going to be a tall order for LaFish to take No Title down on the low AR map. I'm expecting some overmodding on the Hard Rock from LaFish. As far as from what I remember, this map is pretty generic as far as a low AR map goes, I think, unless I'm thinking of the Hidden too. I don't quite recall.
I think it's pretty, it has a lot of flow aim in it, for sure.
Okay, I think the Hidden 2 is the
lot
of
cuts as well. Yeah, I think Hidden 2 is pretty much just strictly aim, but this has a lot of cuts in it, a lot of patterns that are going to be pretty insane, Hidden or Hard Rock. If there's any free mod where no mod probably counts for the most, it's likely this one.
Yeah, it's coming back to me now. I'm remembering there's like cut doubles in here. Like, they're like weird stream patterns. They're like cut doubles, and then there's also just a bunch of weird cut streams, I think, that end on like opposite fingers sometimes. So yeah, some weird patterns in here actually. The Hidden 2 is definitely the generic one of the pool. So this one actually makes more sense to go into. Although I was still expecting the Hidden one. It's a shame we might not be able to see it.
Hidden 1 is pretty sick.
How hard the map is, yeah. But this free mod 2, I think, definitely makes sense for No Title. And yeah, I'm just curious what we're going to see for LaFish. I'm assuming we're going to see a double Hard Rock, at the very least.
Actually, no, it's gonna be Boshi Man
No.
coming in for the no mod, joining FG Sky Chocomin on the hidden Rectagon on the Hard Rock. It's actually gonna be over modding Hard Rock from no title, which I was surprised to see. You still have Karcher and Worst HR player on the Hard Rock hidden respectively, but now Allegrissimo jumping in as a second Hard Rock.
Yeah, I mean, this is diverting expectations completely. I think we would have definitely expect the FISHE to be the one to take double Hard Rock here, but it's going to be no title, actually. Yeah, I mean, early on, worst Hard Rock player, of course, looking very comfortable there with the FC. Rectagon going to be matching that FC with Hard Rock instead of the hidden. So things are looking very close. Karcher finds a combo reset there, and combo lead is going to favor the FISHE ever so slightly just because of that miss from Karcher. And also that miss from Flying Tuna now. The FISHE looking like they've actually, never mind, Cookie Z and FG Sky finding some misses. It's just Boshi with the recovery, and Rectagon.
That is a tough combo. I mean, it is on the Hard Rock. I don't expect the Hard Rock combos to live that long, but especially now with Boshiman breaking as well, that's all the combos reset on the side of LaFish. And worst HR player is still FCing once again. An absolute monster in this match, and Karcher right behind him on the Hard Rock.
He's doing it again, isn't he? Worst Hard Rock player's doing it again for no title. He's just pulling out just ridiculous scores on maps that shouldn't be FC'd with the mods that he's using. Going for the hidden FC on this one, he's already at 700k almost, and it's already a 400k lead at the 3/4 point in the map. And worst Hard Rock player has the only combo, aside from his teammate, with the only
aside from his
combo.
teammate, who is also on a mod with high accuracy, which will also favor the combo. It's only Rectagon with a recovery combo. I mean, Rectagon right now with 520k on Hard Rock, very, very impressive, but you just don't have that second combo, especially with him breaking. Can worst HR player FC another map in this pool?
No way FC's this map. It's just such a worst Hard Rock player map, man.
Yeah.
What the hell is this? Yep. Okay. Close it out for us. There it is.
And how is Karcher just missing early and then FCing the rest of the map on Hard Rock, getting the second highest score as well, right behind his teammate? I mean, this free mod roster, I think, is going to be an absolute force in OWC when we see this team play. I don't really know a single country that can compete with this.
Yeah, that is just a ridiculous performance from no title in this matchup. And yeah, even just after seeing that matchup, I'm very excited to see them perform in OWC. So congratulations to no title. I believe. Wait, is that it?
No, I don't think it's it. I think
wait, are we not done? I thought that was match point.
No, that was not match point.
I'm trolling, dude. I'm completely trolling.
No,
congratulations. No, never mind. We're not done at all.
Like LaFish, there's still a chance they just have to win 4 points in a row, which, anything's possible. But the thing is, and I think we mentioned earlier how much gimmicky aim control maps left in this pool. And now with pretty much all the mechanics gone, you have to pick into weird stuff. And it's going to be LaFish going into Hidden 2.
Yeah.
I don't think this is as one-sided as it might seem. Although no title does have a very strong hidden comp, notably with worst Hard Rock player just going off on the hiddens on the free mods. You still obviously have Cookie Z, I think is going to be a very, very strong player on this map. You also have some low AR players. I think Boshiman, really good on low AR. Rectagon, just all around strong player. I'm not sure who's going to take the 4th slot. Probably FG Sky. But yeah, this is going to be a tough pick to win, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely favored to no title, but like you said, I don't think it's as one-sided as it might seem with how the picks and bans have gone. But yeah, I definitely give favor to no title on a map like this. However, LaFish, like you said, they have some very, very solid players on stuff like this. Cookie Z and Boshiman specifically really like this kind of low AR style. And it's this map as well, it's not really anything like the free mod 2 we just saw. Yeah. This one is very generic as far as an AR 8 goes. It's just aim. It is only linear, kind of linear, a bit of anti-aim sort of thing. It's just if you're comfortable aiming AR 8 hidden, you can probably play this map.
I mean,
a couple early misses.
Yeah, I would say that, but it is still so mechanically difficult
Yeah,
considering the
mechanically
approach rating and hitting
difficult.
that I think you'll have players who are normally very, very strong in air hitting, still finding a lot of breaks, as we can see right now. FG Sky currently holding the big combo for LaFish, matching Worst HR player. But I mean, with how Worst HR player has been playing, never mind, I cursed him and also FG Sky, and pretty much all of the combos in this map is everybody's breaking.
And this map is so short, by the way. We're already halfway through, as no one has any sort of combo. Flying Tuna with the biggest combo in the lobby, and the score lead is already firmly in the favor of no title. It seems like it might already be done and dusted, but there's still a chance for LaFish to bring things back, but it is going to have to be fairly miraculous, I think, at this point. So many misses. Like you said, it is kind of just aim, but the mechanics required, I think, like, it's cross-screen jumps, and like these linear patterns are just ridiculous to hit.
And
no one's hitting them. No one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised to see FG Sky as like the big score on the side of LaFish. Obviously an extremely strong aim player, and this is a very aim-heavy hidden too, but it will be no title. Taking this point and taking the match, winning the pick by 500k with just an overall really solid team score. And they will be advancing on to the finals to end up facing off the winner of Lipinski Ramsing. But also keep in mind, LaFish is not done for the tourney. They will be playing for third place against the loser of Ramsing Lipinski, so they still get to play another match. But yeah, I mean...
Yeah, congratulations to no title. Going to be winning out 7-2. I think probably the more expected outcome for the matchup. I think just looking at the rosters in general, just this roster for no title, specifically Kartra and Worst Title player, just really, really insanely good. But it was a valiant effort from LaFish going into that one. Some very big scores from a couple of their players throughout the match. Rectagon playing very, very well today. Cookie Z also putting up some very, very insane scores for them. And some supporting scores here and there from some of the other players. But yeah, still very good performance from LaFish, but no title bringing things out on top. It's just the more consistent team, really, all round. And like you said, going up to verse the winner of Lipinski and Ramsing, which that match will be taking place at 16 UTC today. So make sure you're sticking around for that one, because that is also going to be determining who goes through to the grand final to face off against no title.
Yep.
That's an exciting matchup as well.
That'll be in 8 hours, and I mean, considering the outcome of this match, I expect it to be a lot closer, like maybe even tiebreaker type match. No title, the South Korean roster for OWC, I am now super keen to see how they play. Yeah, I am on the South Korean hype train for OWC now. The dominance will take place.
Yeah, it was definitely a very, very good performance from them. But make sure you're sticking around in 8 hours time at 16 UTC. Like I said, it's going to be Lipinski versus Ramsing. We have some very big names in that matchup, so make sure you're sticking around for that one later on today. And I've been Mavs, and thank you, Woody, for the cast, and thank you everyone for watching this matchup.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Take care all.